Welcome to Morning Read Aloud. And I'm reading this book by Susan Petrone. Backwards, I hate that. An author from Cleveland, Ohio. And she loves baseball. So, without any ado, I'm just going to keep reading this. We're in chapter 3 or 4. We may be visited by a cat. Oh, I'll show the cat. They love cats. Look, there's the cat. All right, here's the book. That night was Little League night for both boys. Brenda was fortunate that their games fell on the same night, and they were played close by. John played at Quarry Park in their city, while Andy's team played across the street at Denison Park in neighboring Cleveland Heights. It's just a question of going back and forth between the two. She generally dropped John off first, then Andy, and walked across the street through the park to watch John's game, since the younger kids played shorter games. Afterwards, she and John walked back to the park and across the street to watch the last innings of Andy's game. John wasn't exactly struggling in his new league, but Brenda could see he was still a little intimidated by the bigger, older kids and the opposing pitchers. He was facing kids who could afford to be meaner and throw harder than any parent. The 9 to 11 league had some female players, still, a handful of sturdy little souls who never caught soccer men like their friends, and hadn't yet lost the confidence to go after a bouncing grounder on the run or face a boy pitcher who still thought girls like cooties. There was actually a girl on John's team and two on the team he was playing. Just about every team had its token girl. In Andy's entire 12 to 14 league, there were only two girls. That was all. Brenda had never really wondered if those girls would have a chance to keep playing baseball when they got older. For now, they were just other children playing a game with her children. Then one of the girls came up to her near the end of Andy's game. She was about 13, with her hair in a long, dark single braid going straight down her back. Andy's team had played her at the bar, played hers the week before, and the girl had jumped like a pixie at second base, stopping everything that came her way. She was tanned and angular with a bright smile. If Brenda had a daughter, she would have wondered to have this confidence and strength. Excuse me, said the girl. She walked up to where Brenda was waiting for Andy, just beyond the bleachers. The girl was in her uniform. Their game must have just ended over on the other diamond. You're Brenda Haverkamp, right? Brenda tried not to look apprehensive or surprised to say, my name's Emma. I play baseball too. I just wanted to tell you I signed your petition and watched your YouTube video about a gazillion times. My mom watched it too, and now she doesn't ask me if I want to switch to softball anymore. The girl smiled. Softball is boring. Thank you, and I'm glad to hear your mom is supporting your baseball career. It's one thing to have a mom or friend say you'll be a role model. It was overwhelming to realize that she actually was one. Well, I see there are two people who are watching, maybe. Hey, listen, do me a favor. No, don't subscribe, don't hit like. But if you want to put a comment in just to say where you are listening from, I love that. I love to know where the people are. Where are the people? Anyway, the girl nodded, smiling broadly. I hope the Indians sign you. Brenda wasn't sure what to say to this. It would be rude to say she didn't really want to be signed by the Indians. And the petition wasn't her idea, and that it wouldn't do any good anyway because no Major League Baseball team is going to sign a woman. Well, wouldn't be the end of the world if they don't. We play because we like it, right? Yep, baseball's the best game ever. Brenda thanked the girl again. Then Andy and John came over, and she made a graceful exit. She tried to ignore the extra attention people had started to pay her, just as she tried to ignore the curious bystanders who continued to come to Lightning games to see her pitch. Hi, hi, Ollie, PPFF1. Tell me where you... Oh, 9 people out there listening. I'll keep reading, but like I said, leave me a comment. You don't have to like, you don't have to subscribe, but just leave me a comment and tell me where you're listening from. That's what I like. All right. Throw Like a Woman by Susan Petrone continued. Brenda thanked the girl again. Andy and John came over. She also ignored the phone calls from David Samuels, the smooth-voiced agent who called her every day at varying times, obviously trying to catch her in person. Brenda listened to the messages and promptly erased them. She didn't think about them again until Thursday night after the Lightning game. Brenda went in for the last 2 innings, struck out 3, allowed no runs, no hits, and no walks. She had a great game, kind of wished the boys or Dell or Robin or Dan had been there to see it. The number of curious and incredulous people in the bleachers had been growing throughout the summer. There were even more this week, no doubt, thanks to Charlie Bannister's show. In addition to friends and family of the team, there were 3 couples, 2 who looked like they were retired, and one in their 20s, a trio of men who looked like young retirees, and refused to be impressed by anything Brenda did. A group of 6 older women who made sure to cheer after nearly every pitch Brenda threw, and a lone man who looked to be in his early 50s. Brenda thought he might be a friend of someone in the opposing team, so she was surprised when at the end of the game he started strolling alongside her as she headed to the parking lot. Ah, last I get to speak to the elusive Brenda Haversham, the man said. There was no mistaking the silky voice, which sounded as though it was going to pick you up and tuck you into bed. Mr. Samuels, she asked in person. She briefly appraised him. He had closely cropped curly hair. It was so dark it looked almost blue in the fading light. He had creased jeans. Who still has creased jeans? And his linen shirt made it clear his casual outfit cost more than Brenda's best suit. I'm not that elusive. You didn't have any trouble finding my telephone number or finding me. It's one thing to get an answering machine, it's another to get the woman herself. She wasn't entirely fond of the familiar way he addressed her, and yet she found herself doing the same thing, speaking to him as though he were a long lost friend instead of a stranger. He was too charming by half. Without thinking about it, she shifted her gym bag with her glove, hat, cleats in it from her right hand to her left so it wouldn't bump into him, but he kept walking. Look, I apologize for not returning your call, she said, but honestly, I'm not interested in representation. I thought if I didn't call you back, I'd realize that. I figured as much. David replied, sounding completely unfazed. But when an athlete has as much earning potential as you do, I don't let a few unreturned phone calls get me down. Brenda snorted back a laugh. I think my earning potential peaked a few years back. Unless you got an opening for a graphic designer with outdated skills, I think I've plateaued. They were in a car. Good old Molly, who was overdue for an oil change and rotation, was waiting right where Brenda had left her. Look, it's flattering you came all the way from Cleveland, from wherever. From Cleveland. I'm with Strategy and Management. We're based here. Oh, well, it's still flattering you took the time to come here and watch my game, but I'm not interested in representation. Why not? David asked. You don't feel like making some serious money in endorsements or playing in the big leagues? Playing in the big leagues? You out of your mind? No, no, I'm not. I want you to think about something. Your video on YouTube. It's not my video. I didn't post it. Fair enough. The latest video of you pitching has been viewed 1.5 million times on YouTube in 3 weeks. Petition on signbrenda.com has received over 200,000 signatures in 1 week. You have been clocked throwing a baseball 93 miles an hour, and you have clearly captured the public attention. And yet you say your earning potential is plateaued, and you aren't interested. So, Brenda, I need to ask you something. In a move reminiscent of a lover lying back on a bed covered in rose petals, David leaned against the dusty blue minivan and asked, Are you out of your mind? Excerpt from the transcript for Today in Sports with Charlie Bannister, ESPN, June 25th. Charlie, the Tigers are still sitting pretty atop the American League Central Division, but it's too early to rule out the White Sox, who've been tearing it up in divisional play. The Indians made a rare show of strength today with a solid 9-3 trouncing of the Boston Red Sox. The team has showed some life lately and might be able to salvage the season if they can fill in some holes in the bullpen. Holds up the sign saying signbrenda.com. I've been told by the powers that be that I am not permitted to use this show as a platform to lobby for women in baseball, end quote. So I'm not going to mention any names. And I'm not lobbying for women in baseball. I'm just lobbying to give an unknown pitcher a chance. It's a short reading today, but we're going to cut it off there. Oh, thank you. I have a beautiful voice. Thank you so much. So I'm going to give it a rest for the day. But this is a really good book, Throw Like a Woman by Susan Petrone. And I admit I'm friends with the author, so I may not be entirely uh, objective, but it is a really good book, I think, so far. I mean, it could turn ugly, but I don't think so. So go out there and get yourself a copy, and I'll see you at the ballpark.